Hi, this is Nick Lowry, my buddy Damon Cornelia, and we're going to be going over some basic hold downs and escape work for you. This is just fundamental hold downs and basic pointers to your situational osakomi. So working from the first position, which is basically Kesa Gatame, we're going to come under this man's arm. We're going to spread our legs out, our toes down, little toe to big toe, keeping the knee down, tractoring under this elbow, raising his head up. We're going to coil his spine slightly and keep his body position arched as we lean our weight into the side of his rib cage. So if we rotate, let's just walk around this way a little bit. Good. You can see a better shot now of how we're pressurizing right in through the side of the rib cage and causing him a little bit of discomfort. If I'm doing my job properly, it should make it difficult for him to breathe easily. If he's here and he can talk normally, go ahead and talk.
Hello, hello, hello.
That's
hello,
fine.
hello.
Now, if I put the pressure into him correctly, go ahead.
Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah, you can hear him kind of get under stress there. So that's the basic job we're trying to do, and it by itself can be a brutal job. Now, the fundamental ideas of escape that you work with here are several, but first we'll just cover the beginner stuff. If my knee is up, which is a popular form, a lot of people like to keep their knee high here in this fashion. If that is the case and he notices that, I have a profound weakness already, and he can just drive back over this straight knee and roll me back. Ooh, right here. Good. And so basically, if my knee is up, my outrigger is not doing its job. He tries to raise up against this structure. He has a hard time. It pushes right into that big toe, and my foot has purchase. He has a difficult time driving in. If the knee is up also, he has an opportunity to reach over with his back leg and overhook that knee. Woo, right there. And once the leg is entangled, he stretches my body out and begins to take my position apart. Good. But presuming I know what I'm doing, I have a little pressure on him here, it makes it difficult to do any of that. Now if he reaches over with the leg, he has a hard time getting any position on it in which he's able to do his job. He can also have a tough time driving. So this means that if he's being held properly, he's going to have a bridge and roll escape in which he puts pressure into me and then reverses and takes me up over his ear. So let's demonstrate that. In and up and over. There we go. Good. And that's your fundamental issues of Kesa Gatame into bridge and roll escape. Let's let him demonstrate one more time. Bridging in, he sets a little pressure on me. Now he hugs up what he's got, and he takes me right up over the corner. That's right. Good man. Good man. All right, now some specialized escape ideas that happen in relation to Kesa Gatame. There's some specialized forms of Kesa Gatame that become difficult challenges for people occasionally. If I'm holding my Kesa on the man, and I refuse to bridge the weight into his body and punish him like this, which is my preferred method, I like reaching all the way into my own pant here, making a little grip if I like, or maybe just laying the fold of my hand in here, and then leaning weight into him. This is still somewhat vulnerable to bridge and roll. If he drives in, he sets a little power on me, boom! He may get a chance at it right there. He lifted my center slightly. As he continues, he'll do probably a series of consecutive ideas of bridging in and bridging out that way. And as soon as he feels my body rock, he hits the next one and the next one. It's very unlikely that any given one escape attempt will be the actual escape. And in fact, what you have to train yourself to do is to do a series of consecutive, fast, instantaneous adjustments and conditions back into the bridge and the bridge and the bridge and the bridge. So you basically hit them like a jackhammer one after another. Bam, 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 bam. And so if I've got him set up bad, reaching under here, making it a little tougher on him, got his arm stretched and shoulder controlled, and I got my weight bridged in, he's going to bridge in and pop me pop me again, pop. Yeah, there we go. Right over the top. I can tell you, it's a little different experience when you actually have to bring it to life a little bit. Now, there's another form of escape function that you got to build into your basic Kesa Gatame deal, which has to do with when they don't bridge their weight onto you, but rather they start sliding downhill with their head and leaning over. This is particularly bad if the guy is very flexible. He'll actually be laying down his head very close to the floor right here. So let's turn toward the camera slightly. Yeah. And I'm not as flexible as some guys. Some guys will put their head right on their knee or their head right on the floor. He can tell you he's not suffering a lot of burden in terms of pressure on his chest here because I'm not giving him any weight at all. But if he suffers under the illusion that he can still do bridge and roll right here, he may get kind of disappointed. So if he's doing regular bridge and roll right here, he never gets to knock me over the top because my center of gravity is never riding up on top of him to begin with. It's staying low and out to the side. This type of hold down has its own vulnerability, and that is basically that when I make that sort of off to the side, weight not committed to his center of gravity issue, then he can basically just attack it from the upper body. And that's an action we like to call the jackhammer. It's a cool little move. So if he notices that he's having no good purchase because my center of gravity is not riding up on top of him at all, his first action then, once he recognizes that, and it does take a little time to realize it sometimes, is that he wants to put his hand between his head and my head. And he wants to rotate to the side of his body. And because I'm not pressurizing him properly, he can do that. He can basically rotate from a flat position to a side position right here. And he can begin to basically, from this sideways position, motivating from his center and from his legs, he can begin to extract this arm and this shoulder out that direction right there. So if I'm holding this, he just wants to pull that shoulder back. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, these tight little shocks. And he motivates it from the legs and the abdomen, and he's pulling that shoulder back. Watch. Pow, pow, pow. Good, good. As that's happening, the top arm, the hand that's between his head and my head, is going to be doing a long driving action this way. And those two actions together create what we like to call the jackhammer. It sets up a nice hold down position with an arm bar. So here we are. We've got the man set up. I'm doing my sneaky trick and kind of laying off to the side so he doesn't get to bear my weight. He recognizes this fact, and so he gets his hand placed between his head and my head. Once this is in place, he rotates to his side, and once he's on his side, he begins the jackhammer. Pop, 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 pop. Yes! And that incremental set of jacking himself out will allow him to break loose of that encircling hold. So let me do it to you. There we go. Let's see if I can do this anymore. His head's going down, and his weight is bearing not on me anymore, but on the side of my body. And this can be very confusing for a while until you recognize it. Now let's turn around so they see a better view. All right, that's pretty good. You got me? Good. First off, the hand gets between his head and my head. That's the first element. Be careful not to cross face here. We don't want to hurt the man's face in any way. Second element, to turn on the side and to begin to extract that shoulder. And he can tell you, surprisingly, my shoulder moved several inches already, just turning like that. And now from here, we begin to use our center of gravity and come right out, make ourselves a nice position for Wakigatame, for instance. All right. Thank you. Excellent. Play with these.